topic is music and me. Chasing my music dreams, in trying to become a musician, in trying to become a recording artist, in feeling so strongly that I should sing. Music costs money. You know what I'm saying? Money. And money is nothing more than exchange of value. So if you have value, people will pay for it. If you don't have value, you'll be broke. That's the truth. Sometimes in life, you feel discouraged. Sometimes in life, things ain't working. I had a dream. He came to tell me, go and do music. In my head, I'm like, oh gosh, share normal. Hi guys, hello. How you doing today? Welcome to another episode of Life Lessons with Queen Billion in the building. Yeah, Queen Billion in the building. How we doing? Hope you've had a great day, a nice week, a nice month, at whatever time that you're watching this. It's good to have you on the show. Guys, so today I'm going to be sharing what music and me. Yeah, so for those of you that do not know me, that are just meeting me for the first time, where have you been all my life? Anyways, welcome. So I am a singer, songwriter, and recording artist. And for some of you, this might be the first time you're finding this out. And for some that have known me for as long as whenever, you know this to be true. So what's the story behind music and me? Well, I remember my mom telling me about how when I was a baby, how if she backs me and I hear music, I start dancing. And then she used to love King Sunny Ade so much that time. And as soon as I could talk, I could sing the record from the beginning to the end. I still have some fragments of those songs in my head now. Ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́nu rẹ̀ sọ ní borí dandan. Àṣà Olúwa ò ní ẹ lórí mi o. Ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́nu rẹ̀ sọ ní borí dandan. Ìfẹ́ tó fi hàn mí ló jẹ́ kí n mọ̀ wípé òun kò ní fi mí sílẹ̀ sínú wàhálà. Should I continue? Okay, let's continue with the gist. So basically, music has always been my thing. At least listening to my mom, I know it's always been in my DNA to sing. So right from when I was a child, I've always been in a choir. I've always loved to sing. Anything that has to do with service in church or in a fellowship, you find me in the choir. It was just my place. It was just a place that I felt, comfortable. But one thing that I realized that even though I love to sing, I always ran away from anything that had to do with musical theory. That's one of the things I regret till today. The fact that I ran away from musical theory, because today is one of those things that I wish that I know. Because I know that it would help me a great deal, make me more musical, make me a better singer. But that's story for another day. Just chip it in. That's a life lesson. Whatever you have the opportunity to learn, if you have the time, learn it. If you have the resources to learn it, learn it. It doesn't take anything from me to learn stuff. It can become useful for you tomorrow. So that's a lesson one. Secondary school, university days, I was called Celine Dion of Crawford University. I know some of my friends from school see this video, they will be able to attest that. You guys are better come and tell the world that it is true. I'm not forming. But really, I could be singing, from one block and somebody is hearing a voice from the cafeteria and they're, running and following the voice, trying to find out who is singing. I am a soprano singer, so I have a wide range of high-pitched voice. So it's understandable that you would hear my voice from a far place, especially when there's a whole lot of space, nothing blocking the voice. So back then in school, I loved to sing, and I was part of the choir. What was our name back then, Seth? It's Glory House Choir or something like that, and it was wonderful. It was a private university owned by a church that is very conservative, so there was not much entertainment. So we had to just create some form of entertainment for ourselves, and forming a choir was one of it. So I was the assistant music director, and at the making of this video, it's sad, but the guy that we started the choir together, Wale, he passed on. Was it sometime in June 2021? And I've not seen him since, forever, and it was really sad to hear that. But I'm glad that he had Jesus as his Lord and Savior. So basically, we would organize events, and sing. People loved us. At least we're all musical and gifted in our own ways. And so after uni, I went to serve. Also joined the NCCF choir, and after that, coming back home, the Nigeria story now, the Nigeria also, you have to find, okay, what's the next thing to do? The next thing any normal graduate does is to start looking for a job, start applying for jobs, start going from here to there. And I was applying. But then one day I sat down, it was in 2011, I sat down and I said, okay, Abimbola, what are the things that you can do for money? What skills do you have that you can turn to money? And I came up with 13 different things. So that's another lesson. You need to be able to count your blessings and name them one by one, if that's fits into this. But you need to be able to realize what are the things that you can actually make money from. Because a whole lot of people have not actually taken stock of their gifts and their talents. They've not taken stock of the gifts and talents that God has given to them. Because it's like I always use David as an example from the Bible. But the truth is, how could he have known that he's playing the harp in the wilderness with the sheep was going to get him to the palace? He didn't know. How would he have known that his being able to defeat the lion and the bear was going to help him to defeat Goliath? How would he have known? So you need to be able to take stock of what you are capable of doing that you can actually use in exchange for money, because that's value that you're creating, and money is nothing more than exchange of value. So if you have value, people will pay for it. If you don't have value, you'll be broke. That's the truth. So I came up with 13 things, and number one was music. That's to tell you how much I love music. And I remember we were writing, I think maybe a yearbook or something, and what would you like to become? Even as a microbiology student back then in university, I think I wrote I would like to be an entertainer. So I came up with 13 different things, music, fashion, speaking, emceeing, being a compare or something like that. The last thing on the list was getting a job. So all of those things that I wrote down, I started to pursue them one after the other, starting with music. So that year, my friend Tai was trying to start a record label. He knew I could sing, so he was trying to get me to be like the first artist. Yeah, a lot of you don't know this story, and trying to get me, to be his first artist, that he gets signed and all of that. A couple of visits to the studio and all of that. But one thing I realized was the fact that there was a particular kind of person that they were looking for, who I am not. I am not a Tiwa Savage. I am not a Sheishe. If you get what I mean. So I am more of let's say an Asha, Tatiana. I am more of a Kobam. I'm more of a Timi Dakolo. That kind of genre. I'm more of a gospel inspirational singer. So it was hard for yes, I had the voice. But then what they said that time was I was not commercial. I wasn't commercial enough for them. So I was like, well, if you're looking for commercial, I'm probably not your girl. Because there are some things that I just won't feel comfortable doing. There are just some lyrics I just won't feel comfortable singing. There are just some outfits that I just won't feel comfortable wearing. So it didn't work out. Friends hired, a couple tried a whole couple of other times, and then there was this other guy from my church. Is it Wilfred now? He also, went to some studios a couple of times. A lot of my friends around me back then were actually, trying to see if they could be my manager. Yeah, if my manager, and actually get my foot into the right door to start my music journey, my music career.